Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry that I can't join you in person and hear what other people have to say apart from anything else. But I just wanted to send a couple of minutes, sort of reflection feedback to you about my time at the WPC this year. And I was invited to co-lead the WPC choir. So with Judy, awesome Canadian song leader who's been leading the WPC choir stuff over the years, and she invited me in, and we had sort of monthly rehearsals in the run up on Zoom with people. I think we had people from 8 countries, and we recorded it for the people who were coming, who were in Australia or in the middle of the night. But actually, people in Japan would wake up, set their alarms for 2 a.m. and wake up and come and join us live, because it meant so much to them to sort of participate and be part of it in that way, which was really, really sweet. And then when we got there, and we were singing at the opening ceremony, so we were all there slightly ahead and to have our rehearsals and get everyone together, and it was quite emotional, sort of meeting people that we'd met online, and everybody was feeling quite emotional, I think. We had the songwriter with us, so it gave me a little insight into how meaningful our song had been at the last WPC, actually, for people. It's really quite something, sharing the words and experiences of a person or a group of people living with Parkinson's, and seeing how much everybody got, both people with Parkinson's and carers and supporters, was just it was much more emotional than I expected it to be. It was really it really got me thinking about the sort of the potential for writing. I know we did the songwriting and won the competition, of course, a few years ago, and it really got me thinking about making more space for that, and supporting people to write individually or together, and maybe that's something we can think about as a group, and being a sort of a support person rather than a medic, or a person living with Parkinson's. I'm very interested in how, obviously, in how singing and movement can help support people living with Parkinson's, but the whole sort of creative spectrum. And it was, for me, it was fascinating and lovely, and sparked lots of thoughts and ideas, meeting people who were working in movement and voice. And there's I went to an incredible improvisation workshop, which I think runs online, and I'll find the info for that. But it was incredible, because if you dramatic improvisation, I should say, rather than singing. I thought it was going to be music improvisation, which is why I went along. And this North American guy who was leading it has obviously got a background in drama and improvisation. His dad had Parkinson's, and he found going to the support groups quite difficult, sort of structurally quite difficult, in that he felt that people sort of got together and complained, and bloody fair enough. that is one of the things that the support group is there for. But he wanted to bring in a sort of a different thread alongside that, to support that in a framework of possibility, I suppose. And so improvisation at its basic form, sort of dramatic improvisation, you can summarize as yes and. So if you've not done it before, you sort of, if somebody says something to you, you're sort of practicing thinking, oh yes, and rather than sort of blocking or stopping, or maybe responding from where you're at. So it's about sort of unlocking and opening up possibility and being very playful. So he had a similar way to me, in that he's silly and playful, and I really enjoyed that. And it really got me thinking about how very small creative things can help us open some of the doors that we layer in up on top of ourselves, particularly if what we're living with is long-term sort of limiting chronic illnesses. Is that, it can become utterly we can all become bogged down in it. And I speak as somebody who has lived for a long time with chronic pain, so whilst I've not lived with Parkinson's, I have a sense of the sort of long-term difficulty in your body not doing what it should be doing. So I'm perhaps speak a little bit from that experience, and there's two parts to that, aren't there? I think the improvisation gave me that sense that there is possibility sometimes when we don't see it, even though there are things that there are not possibility for. And so I think for me that's sort of a summary of my experience of the whole thing, and I think Stephen said he was going to talk about the sheer scale of it, and that I was so impressed by the breadth of people working in and impacted by Parkinson's, all sort of milling about together in a very non-hierarchical way. I was utterly impressed and very moved by, actually. And I had some brilliant, interesting conversations with medics, with therapeutic support workers, with people living with Parkinson's, with care partners. It was utterly gorgeous to be in a place where the central understanding was people with Parkinson's are in charge. I really enjoyed that, and I think if anyone gets if anyone was feeling like, oh, maybe I'd like to go, I would heartily recommend it if you feel able. I think it's going to be in North America next time, which may be easier or more difficult depending what your circumstances are. But it's incredible. It's utterly incredible, and I got a lot talking to people living with Parkinson's. I got a lot of feedback from people about that, like, oh, we're in the majority here, you know, like that sense of I'm not the odd one out, which I'm sure the support groups and the branch does for people, but to be in a sort of a global space where there's this massive shared experience, and for care partners as well, I'm sure is massive, and it was beautiful, and as I say, I'm at the creative end of things, and how the creative stuff can help the brain perhaps to do a bit more functionality. And for me as a song leader, it really got me thinking about things like how singing can help with finer motor skills, for example, that like some of you will be used to doing some of this nonsense, but actually using the rhythm and using the voice to help support fine motor skills. And I wrote quite a lot of new singing and voice exercises whilst I was away, so it was really it was a burst of creative energy for me, because what I want to do is to keep writing and finding new fun songs that are really voice exercises, that are actually just enjoyable to do, because I know that everybody gets their voice exercises, and I know that we're all going to be up and down about how we do that, and how we engage with that, and if what we've got is some songs that can duplicate some of that functionality that is actually just really enjoyable, then all the better, especially if they make us laugh. So I set a challenge over the summer for our singers to write some tongue twisters, so I'm in the process of writing some of those to music now. So watch this space. I might be calling on you again to write some new words. I hope that was just a little light on my time. As I say, I'm so sorry not to join you, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.